have you got on my face? And I've got this on like a gorilla pod, which is balanced on a thick book. A gorilla pod is one of these tripods that you can flex, bend, and kind of put on anything on and everything. See how it goes. People think it's straightforward, just talking into a camera. It's not. It's hard, especially when you've got no cue cards and not reading off anything. This is a lot of it's not off the. But yeah, I guess it is off the top of my head. But just a few things I want to talk about really, and that's my training regime. I'm trying, because what I've got. Sorry, digressing. On the back of it's a flip share camera. And it's got like a mirror finish on the back of the camera for those guys that know what I'm talking about. So I'm trying to gauge if I've got all on my head. I apologise if you can only see half my head or the top of it's cut off. Not a bad thing, some of you would say, but we'll see how it goes. If I move up and down, just bear with me. I'm not a professional at this, so we'll give it a go. But going back to my original subject of what this whole video blog or vlog. You hate people who do that. It's really annoying. I won't do it again. It's week 13 of my training program, the old bodybuilding thing. The first 12 weeks essentially I was building and bulking. So I gained a lot of mass, a lot of size, quite a lot of water retention there as well. So come to a point now so that's 3 months in. I'm now in week 13, so I want to cutting a phase or stripping. So essentially what I'm trying to do is get rid of that body fat. Not a lot has changed in terms of my training regime, I should say. It is in terms of, obviously, I mean, I'm doing more cardiovascular work. Cardio just meaning I'm just keeping my heart rate at an elevated level, somewhere between 150 to 180 beats per minute, and sustaining that for 30, 40, 50 to an hour, 60 minutes sort of period. And this is after initial sort of workout, so I'm doing my weight training as well. So that's anywhere between sort of hour and a half to 2 hours, maybe 3 hours on some occasions, depending on what I'm doing on a particular day. But again, it's another 3 months that's going to take. Really, I'm setting myself. So by the 6 month period, I'll have an idea of where I am. I'll be able to sort of criticise and critique myself in terms of have a look at the areas I need to improve on, muscular wise. And we'll take it from there. But I have to say I'm really quite shocked at how well my body has adapted and made those adaptations through good old-fashioned resistance training. That's doing the iron, doing the hard work, putting resistance through a particular muscle group. A lot of it is isolation exercises. A lot of the stuff that I used to sort of not slag off, but kind of went, this functional's the way forward. Well, plyometric bang, that's great, it's all good, but to get big muscles, you've got to really go back to what is some people would call old school. It's not old school. If it is old school, then fine, but it's old school for a reason, because it works. The reason why it works is you are doing a particular exercise, and all I'm doing is exercising around joint actions. So, for instance, flexion and extension of the elbow, well, yeah, bicep curl. So if I put a little bit of weight in my hand and do that enough times, the body's going to make adaptations. The muscle will get bigger. It's not the miracle of life, you know what I mean? But I have to say this, I've never felt in such great shape in all my life. I feel strong, I feel good, I feel energised. It's hard work. Yeah, it has become a little bit of an obsession, but I think it becomes all-encompassing. It engrosses you, it focuses the mind, and as well as sort of juggling that, and I'm lucky because obviously the job I do, I'm a personal trainer, so I'm able to incorporate that and my training as well. So, I may be losing a little bit of money, but I didn't go into personal training to make money, but I'm booking myself time out in order to get the time to get my training done. And like I say, it's all encompassing, it's engrossing. Clearly the nutrition has to be bang on. So you have to eat clean. I literally have not had any alcohol since the Army-Navy match. That was beginning of May, end of April I think it was. No, tell a lie. Went on a rugby tour, back bank holiday, so yeah, beginning of May. So I had a bit of drink then, and no alcohol has touched my or passed my lips at all. Obviously, alcohol contains alkaloids, which destroy muscle tissue, so really counterproductive. So all you guys and girls out there that think it's a-okay to kind of train hard Monday to Friday, then go out on the piss on a Friday or Saturday night, it doesn't work. It's you've got to get, half-baked attempts will only get you half-baked results. Everything in moderation. But I'm an all or nothing kind of person. It's either all or nothing. So I've got a leaving due to go out tonight. Tonight being Wednesday. I think it's the 14th today. What day is it? Yeah, 14th of August. And I won't be drinking. I'll just go out and drink ice water. You know what I mean? But there's no problem. People can take their mickey, but the people, the true friends around you, the ones that are going to support you on your way. So another top tip is always ignore negative criticism, and if you kind of hear that, just use that as a driving force and just screw everybody else. Focus on what you want to do, what you want to accomplish, and you have to be sort of, in some ways you've got to be a little bit selfish, but not that's going to affect other people, but to yourself. You've got to really make those sacrifices and really discipline yourself. It's another key word, discipline. Like I said, I did 23 years in the British Army, and it's one of the, they call it one of the, we have values, we used to have this values and standards, and really sort of harp on about it, especially to our young soldiers, but it applies to all, and it's not just soldiers, but it's very much, I would see them as life skills. So discipline and self-discipline, massive. Having the ability to get up in the morning, go to work, that's a form of discipline, and not be late, so you've got to be punctual, that's a form of discipline. Having the discipline to train, even when sometimes you're kind of feeling a little bit, and we all have days where you think, dear, I'm not feeling it today, but you've just got to go through it. But on the flip side of the coin, you've got to listen to your body. Yesterday I had a massive session on Monday, and then I got halfway through an arm set. I just literally had no energy. I was really tired. Clearly my body hadn't recovered, even after doing this for 13 weeks now. I had to listen to my body, and I had to sort of say, well, okay, cut my losses, go away, rest. I slept, came back, did my work in the evening, went for a meal last night, steak obviously, and then today had a session, felt fantastic, and that's it really. So the key word is discipline. You've got to really, stick with it, and once you've got into it, once it becomes a habit. And that's the key word. And once it becomes a habit and just like a lifestyle choice, then you're going to really see the gains. It's hard as well because you do become really, call it vanity, call it what you want, but you look at yourself and you're thinking, right, okay, I need to work on here, I need to pick that. You're never happy, you're never satisfied. But you kind of, my sort of goal is just to walk down the street and really, one of the goals is just to be the biggest, and have people sort of look at you. And just sort of go, be bigger than the average Joe. I'm 42 next month, and I look at other 40-year-olds, and I just really only bigger and better now, because people think, people use the excuse, I'm too old, I don't have time. No, I don't buy that at all. Everybody's got time. Just get out there and do it. You just do what you got to do. I mean, I want to compete next year. It's a goal I've set myself. Also, when people look at something that's muscular, I think a lot of people that have got a bit of an education, got a bit of savvy, a bit of clue about, and they're going to know that person has put time and effort into building that body. Clearly, it's not. I didn't do that as a market employee because I am my own brand. I am aware of that, but I'm starting to get people that are looking and taking notice and going, yeah, he's obviously, I want to be like him. So that's a real sort of good. Positive, sort of vibe I get, and I think, wow, so it is working on that front. So there's a lot to be said for it, but I just want to be bigger, stronger than the next person, and I'll keep doing it. And people, they take the mickey and all that sort of thing. That's fine. They take the mickey, while they're eating their pies, their fish, and the chips, and all the bad fats and all the rest of it, and that's fine. They can go and do all that. I'm just going to live my life how I want to live it. No, I don't really care about anybody else. Just got to concentrate on what I've got to do, and that's to get physically as big as I possibly can. It doesn't mean I'm going to be the strongest, because, like I say, I'm not using particularly heavy weights in certain areas because I don't want to smash my tendons and my ligaments. So, I'm doing 6, 7, 8 sets. I'm not doing any kind of thing I've been taught. There's no. I just train. Just till I feel that muscle's been worked sufficiently. So it's quite a high set range. It's quite a high volume of training I'm doing. But it's not. It's just, you know, what one person may say, "Oh, that's wrong. That's wrong." Well, that person, to them, what I'm doing may seem overtraining to them, but to me, it's not overtraining. That's, you know, one person's. If you think he's overtraining, well, that could be another person's warm up. So, you know, there's no overtraining. Like I said, when I was in the army, I did as I was told. You know, I used to get up every single morning. We used to do PT every single morning at 5 o'clock in the morning. Then again in the afternoon, and we do drill and march around the square. We did that. We had no choice. We had to do that 2 or 3 times a day. That's not overtraining. British Army, Air Force, Navy, Marines, we don't do overtraining. It's conditioning. Our bodies get conditioned to it. So when people say you're overtraining, that's too much. No, it isn't. We had no choice. We had to go and do what we had to do. That's not overtraining, you know. People say, "I'll train the same body part every day." That's, yeah, it's overtraining. Is it? No. If I do press-ups every single day, is that overtraining? No. If somebody does 300 sit-ups every day, are they overtraining? They're used to it. Why is it overtraining? Who is the next person to say that it's overtraining? It's not overtraining. If your body's used to it, it'll do it. Overtraining, it's not overtraining. You know, like I say, when I was in the army, I had no choice. When I was going through my basic training, you know, the physical training instructors, the drill sergeants and what have you, you know, you march around the square, you march around at a million miles an hour. Even when many years later, went away and did my drill instructor's course, we had to go back to type and be instructed as a non-commissioned officer, as a corporal come sergeant, I think as I was at the time, you know, getting smashed around the drill square, you know. I didn't have no choice. Well, I could have said, right, I'm not doing this, and walked away, but why do I want to jack it in, you know what I mean? It's just, why would I want to stop? Why would I want to fail? Well, I don't. So in order to get to where you want to be, you have to do it. So it's overtraining, you know. It's a lot of it going around on the internet. There's a guy called C.T. Fletcher, the trainer, who's an ex-military man. He's an ex-sort of world powerlifting champion, who's outstanding. You know, he uses a lot of expletives just to get his point across. It's become very, very popular. He's very, very good. But we're kind of cut from the same thing, you know. And like I say, I do what I've got to do to get to where I want to be, and he says in one of his videos about application. He's absolutely correct. It's about application, okay? All the theory that I've been taught, that's all good, and it's all correct, it's all proper. But again, that's what it is. It's theory, and in the real world, that's the underpinning knowledge that I have. But in the real world, I know what works for me. I know what works for my clients, and generally speaking, I like to think I know what it works for in terms of the musculoskeletal structure, the human body. I know what works. It's tried and tested. What I've got is experience. So I know what works. I know what works for me. I know what works for the clients. But like I say, no one person is the same. No one fix is the same for. So that's why I don't give out too many training programs, because I don't give out generic training programs, because that may not work. That person may not benefit from that program. That person may not benefit from the same. So it has to be different. You have to get to know the person. You have to know how their body works. For me, I know how my body works, and it works the way I want it to work, and it works through a system of hard work, bloody-mindedness, and generally getting the job done. Right, this is my first proper video blog using the new flip share camera that I might have to thank Anthony Subscibe, who bought that for me, who's one of my clients. So, you know, thank you very much for that, and I'm making use of it, Tony, so I appreciate it. And hope you guys enjoyed the first video blog or vlog, and have a great day. All the best. God bless. Take it easy. Train hard.